Robbie. You were so good.
Am I going to disagree with that?
No, you shouldn't disagree at all. But I gotta say, when I saw you, I understood why you were cast right away.
Because Hagrid's such a handsome guy, right?
Exactly, but you know, not just the look, you had the whole feel of him.
Well, thank you very much. Well, you know what happened was that she did an interview and said that whatever happened, Hagrid had to be Robbie Coltrane. So, of course, my son is 8.
Oh.
So the pressure.
Yeah, you had to do it.
Oh, please, you know, and all these little friends. So you're going to do it, Dad, aren't you? I'm going, well, check out the producer and the director and the writer and see if they're going to do it in the spirit of the book.
Sure.
Justice, that's the very word.
Going to do it. And my granddaughter, Ellie, who's 11, and there was some hint in the paper that I was going to do it. And so and then there was hint in the paper that I wasn't going to do it. So my granddaughter called me and said, Papa, she said, if you don't play Dumbledore, I will never speak to you again. She's wrapped up in it. They're all wrapped up in it.
To be in the movie, although I wanted to do.
Who did you want to play?
Ron's mom, Ron and Jenny Weasley, Mrs. Weasley.
And you were never mentioned?
No, I actually talked to Joe and I called Chris and begged.
Yeah, I hear you threatened.
No, would I do that?
No.
Robbie, come on.
I heard there was a car outside her house.
No, that wasn't me. We're gonna go to break and.
There was a discussion between your mom and dad, like, do we let him go for this opportunity?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think a few discussions probably.
Yeah.
And then we went to the theatre one night, and me and my mum and dad were sitting in one row, and the row in front of us was sitting David Heyman, the producer, with a man next to him who it later transpired was Steve Clovis, who was adapting the books for the screen. And I didn't know why, but I did notice this man like turning around and looking at me like several times during the show, and I was like,
pedophile.
What's that about? Yeah, I mean, I was a bit like, what? This is odd. And then my mum and dad, like, at the interval came, and my mum and dad rushed me up and out and outside into the street and just like stood there like talking, and they were like, "How's David? Should we go and say hello? Should we, like, what do we do?" You know, and not quite knowing what the thing to do was. And then basically, like, I think my parents. I don't believe in fate, but fortunately for me, my parents do, because they sort of viewed that as like a sign of like, okay, maybe we've now like just like run into the producer and the guy who's writing it randomly on the street. Maybe this is trying to tell us something. Should we just let him audition? And so they did. And I actually came into the process really late. I think Rupert and Emma both had like. We're into like the double digits in terms of how many auditions they got to in total. I think
double digits.
Yeah, I think I did like 4 or 5. It was relatively quick. And then, yeah, and I think I had my first audition in maybe June or July of that year, and then we were filming by September.